Booga and Ager, Zeke. You chose Booga and I'm kidding. Zeke doesn't get to choose the games. Everyone slow down.
What do you mean? He picks everything. He controls the zones, the games. Come on, MDF. The narrative.
That's great. Love to see it. Well, we're jumping in here. 4th zone, so early game is gone. It's out the window. Getting right into the thick of things here. It's the team holding up its position up top, so this is not a safe spot by any means to sit around for too much longer. And as you can see, the damage does start to add up here.
And having just had 3 med kits makes sense why Booga and Agers were willing to bide their time, wait before opting to rotate in. Off the launch pad, but again, Booga, Agers. A team quick on the approach there to Rift Island could be very troublesome for the other duo that was sitting up above. Itoshi and Larson, though. And you know what this is really looking like to me, MDF? It's we might finally get a visual of what I personally view as some of the worst zones to deal with, the ones that pull towards that southeast side of the map, the Mount Olympus zones of doom, essentially, because dealing with the elevation changes is just so problematic for even the best teams.
Yeah, but you know what? We kind of need it. Let's be honest. Let's mix things up. We're in the last couple of games here worth of coverage. You know, and this is what Zeke wanted. Clearly, he's pressed the button. He pressed the mountain button. And we're going right into that treacherous territory. First time we're seeing Chimp and Scissors here as a highlighted duo. Take a look at the standings as well if you're just tuning in. Muzz and Paper up at the top. Pen and Pump, Clicks and Epic Whale, Aviv and Chubbs. We were asking, can they go straight to uppers? I mean, Aviv and Chubbs could just be having that victory run that you'd hope for.
It's definitely very promising for them being 5th currently on the leaderboards this late into week 2's competition. But again, still got to close it out. Can't get too excited. Never know when other teams might decide to try and play leapfrog with the leaderboards. And again, every single one of these duos competing, all of them with upper bracket on their mind. Just so much easier to get that qual spot to grands from an upper bracket semis run. But at the end of the day, these teams honestly would just be happy to make it into semis in the first place, even if it means going through the lower bracket.
Yeah, this lobby is in a very interesting position because I'm sure they're all also just, you know, hawking the clock. They're looking at what's going on there and they're saying to themselves, man, we only got about 20 minutes before the queue closes out. Do we key this game? Do we play this one out? Like, is it worth it? What are our odds right here? So I'm going to assume that every team that's sitting around right now has very, very good loadouts, and every team we've kind of jumped in with so far as well are pretty much situated. So I think this is going to be a pretty tough game, and it's going to be a telling game.
We got a little glimpse there of Nate Hill, though. Another big player as far as content creation is concerned, but the focus right now onto Antonio. Zipline action to aggress into the box, and a nice knock to go with it. 2 very well-deserved eliminations for Antonio and Roll, but again, you've got to keep the momentum building. And you can see Antonio a little bit concerned here about needing to refarm some wood, but as far as hard material is concerned, definitely in a good spot.
Town Aiden, pressure coming in from teams up above. It's that elevation starting to come into place here. Let's see it, hand cannon, heavy ARs on the other side. I'm gonna rotate, actually. It's a hunt, it's a beat down. What's going on here? Big tag onto Cruisin'. Shut him down. That's going to bring this duo up to 8 eliminations. Antonio and ZNO coming up out of nowhere.
Definitely a team that is getting very active. And that's the other thing, too, though. That's kind of a reoccurring theme that we saw in week 1. As the tournament for today goes later and later, MDF, we start to see these lobbies begin to thin out so much quicker than at the starting point of the day. It's almost as if teams that are kind of recognizing the fact of like, hey, we might not have enough time to finish playing through all of our matches. Let's just go for those high elimination factors, as you had mentioned earlier on. It definitely seems to be in the back of the mind, at least for Antonio. And it's been a relatively successful endeavor this match so far.
Carrots on the move. A long way to go. But I agree with you. You got to take your wins as they come. Sometimes it is a matter of inches.
But that can lead to miles.
Is that really Nate Hill? What is going on right now?
No, he actually qualified for this week. Yep.
I heard 72 hours somewhere out there. Like, what is going on this week?
No, it was insane because it was in his last lobby that he was in. He had 176 points, and for Qual, it was looking roughly around like 213 for round 4. And his duo actually solo clutched their position to be here today. An incredible feat to overcome. So to see them with 136 points on the day so far indicates that they've definitely been making the most of that lifeline they were extended to participate here in round 4 today.
I really do respect Nate Hill's ability to compete even after all these years. Same as Booga, same as Agers. They up on high ground. They're trying to win this one from the Rift Island. You have a lot of other action going on right now, though. You saw Antonio and Zeno. They were at Elands. You looked away. Well, guess what? They're at 10 now. Really, really trying to jump back into these points right now in the final moments. It's like the marathon stretch here, right? Mental fatigue starts to set in. You've had a long tournament, but you never really give up, and then you have a game like this for Antonio and Zeno, really showing and proving to themselves that anything is possible. And monstrous games can come up out of nowhere.
For sure, but you definitely have to favor Booga and Ager's positioning here currently, being able to utilize the launch pad at Rift Island to make their rotate all the easier, and more importantly of all, maintain elevation over a lot of these other teams. Because again, doesn't seem as though they're gonna wind up actually at Mount Olympus of Doom, but still a treacherous position for a lot of these teams, kind of straggling more towards the outskirts, edge of zone area. Antonio roll another one onto Inks and Pandy. Unfortunate. Pandy might still be going. Pandy season. And Inkins, keep in mind, that was a team that made it through in week 1, likely looking pretty solid as far as semis is concerned, but still would, of course, like that upper bracket.
Move on the move right now. They gave up the Rift Island to get to the front side of zone. Lands right on top of Chimp, but no. He's intrigued to try to stabilize himself here, but shots are coming in. The pressure. Too many angles are available right now. It's Visual and Braids right here. A little bit of note. They are bringing on a world of trouble here for Booga and Agers. You have to assume a good chunk of their material is burnt right there that quickly.
Just no worse feeling, honestly. Visuals, though, beaming with the DMR. Hunter's DMR can definitely be super problematic when a player with solid accuracy gets a scope on it. And Visuals now going to take this opportunity. Jump forward, front side. Low ground, though, a little bit more towards that mid-ground area. But Booga and Agers, solid recovery. That was a refresh that they desperately needed. 16 builds back up to 71. So, yeah, for sure had their materials burnt by Visuals and Braids.
For the low ground, way on up, action on the backside of the storm line, Antonio and Zeno. This is exactly what I wanted to see happen. I wanted to see a team find incredible amounts of confidence and then watch that confidence translate into what could be, you know, the best game of their tournament that they've had so far. And I feel like we're watching that play out right now for Zeno and Antonio, as they've almost proven to themselves they can do it. 12 eliminations, but even though high ground is theirs at the moment, the pressure comes in. You cannot let your guard down, and no, they get broken out from the side. Tony and the Cat come in out of nowhere right now. and crush their high ground dreams. But it's not over yet.
A lot of high ground swappage taking place throughout the course of today. Usually several times over and then some in a lot of these lobbies. Scissor and Chimp, they've kind of just been huddled more towards the low ground, and for what it's worth, definitely finding an ample amount of materials and refreshes. Essentially 8 eliminations spread between the two of them. Visuals Braid still only working with the 1, but at the same time, they've had a pretty successful time kind of just waiting things out in some of that mid-ground area. Tonyfv1, again, just the team looking to ensure that they don't get height stripped away from them. Good suppressive fire into all these low ground layers.
Still on the move right now. Ooh, Zeno is down. Top 10 here for Antonio. Finally breaks into that 200-point threshold here. Aegis and Bugha battle their way back out of it, but we see the damage has been done to their material counts. They need this elimination right here. In fact, they'll need a lot more here shortly afterwards as well. Visuals, one of the other solos in here. A lot of solos in the mix right now. Zeno falls there to the hands of Chimp. Visuals jumps in the box and he gets taken out as well. It's Tony and Honk from up top. We just talked about them playing the disruptor here. They're running out of mats as well. You know, it's going to really still go any way. I'm not seeing a win condition in anyone's inventory, but no, Aegis lets his guard down. The builds were taken, and it's not looking good for Bugha either.
The win con for Bugha and Aegis might have just been eliminated, as Bugha has a solo now, joining the rest of them. A little bit of Flowberry Fizz left to work with, though, and it doesn't matter because Tony is just going to outright challenge the champ. Elimination too clean there. Tonyfv1, their seizure of the high ground seemingly panning out, but sure enough, Chimp and Scissor trying to shut it down best they can, but with 10 splashes, 2 medkits, and a banana. Chimp and Scissor, unless Storm Sickness applies, Cat might just run away with it.
Yeah, this is not looking too hot right now for everyone sitting on the other side. Cat has so much heals here to work with. He's far off in the distance. I think this is wraps right now, even for Scissors here, and there it is. They even try to break out high ground. You know what? You got to respect the team that is willing to fight all the way through to the end. That is how you do it here on the qualifier stage, on the FNCS stage, and honestly, well played for Cat and Tony.
Yeah, they did an excellent job. They seized their opportunity to overtake high ground from Antonio and Zeno, and they did an excellent job pushing that team out. And once they had high ground, Tony as well didn't let up the pressure. Was finding consistent eliminations there to pair things up, tee them up for this finish.
Take a look at that. Honkycat with a good win there. Well played for him. Tony, you know what? Because they get a win, and that's all that matters here for the qualifier too of week number 2, and that should jump them up. Zeke, give us an update on the standings, man. Where are we?